Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the internet. The TechnoFunkBoy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven.
Well, greetings, everybody. Welcome. I'm glad you're here to join us today. I am Kai. I am joined, as always, by Steven.
Hello.
Mr. Lanier, how is it going today?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Glad to be here.
And as usual, we are produced by Drum. Hey, Drum, how are you today?
I am functioning properly.
That's fantastic, Drum. We really need to fix that. So this is our second episode that is going out through a series of,
intermittent
jumbled wires that is linking us to the magical thing called the internet and spread out into the world
in a fungal pattern
with, in podcast form. And we have been informed since episode 1 that it's not exactly like we throw pods, we cast the pods and they are gathered. It's, the person explained it to me, I didn't understand.
Yeah, and so we're totally disregarding what they said, and we're just sticking with our original theory.
Right.
We've casted the pod on you, and we ask that you would gather it and pluck it for its fruit.
Right. So,
Imbibe it? Sorry, keep going.
I thought we were done with the metaphor.
I just love metaphors. They make me tingly.
So, we are really excited to be here today, and we've presumably, if you are listening to this episode, you heard episode 1, and so we are really happy you gave us another chance.
Yeah, that you didn't run away.
Yes. Well, you may have run away. You may have run away for much time and decided to return.
Yeah,
maybe after
in the night you just woke up and thought about us.
And you remembered us for the first time. Remembered us fondly.
Mm-hmm.
And
took some processing.
Right. Yeah.
Some struggling. You thought we were useless and annoying and mostly redundant, but in those late watches of the night, there's something changed in you, and you felt a deep sympathy and a love, and it sprouted it. And now you're back. We're so glad.
And after this episode, we'll see you in a few months.
Hopefully.
So we have some news. Okay, so every year, I was going to say that there is a speedrun marathon that is run, but there's actually several speedrun marathons that are run. Several of them that I like a great deal. One of the ones that I like is Summer Games Done Quick, or SGDQ. And we have a reporter on the scene at SGDQ.
Nice.
And so this is very exciting for me. And so, we're going to go to our reporter on the street.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're coming in fine.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yes. So you are at SGDQ, which is confusing me a little bit because I watched SGDQ and it was several weeks ago.
No, I'm not at SGDQ. I'm at SGDE.
SGD.
I don't know what that is.
It's Summer Games Done Eventually.
Oh, so wait, because I mean, I don't really want to go into the behind the scenes of how the show is produced, but what happens is our reporters present an expected expense report that clearly says SGDQ.
I got confused.
Oh, okay. So what is this thing you're at?
It's kind of like SGDQ, except the people here aren't nearly as good, and so what the attempt is to finish the game eventually.
So not quick at all.
Oh goodness, no, they're not quick.
Are they going to work and things in the meantime, or?
Well, no, I mean not all of them. Some of them took vacation, and some of them just don't have jobs.
So, all right. So, like, what are they running right now?
Oh, this is great! It's a 4-way race through Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, well, that's great. I love Mario Brother races. Is it an any percent? And for the listener, an any percent is where you don't have to go through every level of the game. You just find the fastest way to the end.
Right. Yeah, we're doing an any percent.
Great. So how fast are they getting through it?
Well, they've been at it for about 47 minutes.
That's a really long time for that game.
Well, most of them are through World 6.
Wait, World 6? Shouldn't they have warped past World 6?
Well, most of them are new to the game, and they didn't know about the warp zones.
Wait, so this is a newbie version of Summer Games Done Eventually?
I understand they're not as good as the Games Done Quick crew, but I mean, did they pick people randomly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how long is this expected to last?
They just gotta keep going. There is somebody else playing a game.
Oh, good. What else is going on?
They're playing Final Fantasy II, the American Super Nintendo.
Okay, so Final Fantasy IV, 2. I mean, it was titled 2 for the American Super Nintendo version.
Right.
Okay, so how I hesitate to ask. How long has this person been playing?
About 52 hours.
Wait,
my
52?
goodness.
No, because I mean, even on a casual run, that game only takes 40 hours to beat.
Well, he got confused because, like, there's a part that if you don't find Rosa, then Tella won't let you up the mountain, and that took him about 10 hours to figure out.
10 hours?
So, have there been any highlights for the week?
Altercations? Any kind of anything that's newsworthy?
Well, this one guy drank like 10 monsters straight, and then he tried to play Mega Man 2.
That's a highlight.
That actually sounds kind of interesting.
So what happened?
Well, he died.
Oh my goodness! Can we air that, Kai? Can we talk about
wait? No,
video games?
I assumed it was his character who died, not him, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, it was his character. I mean, his heart stopped for just about a minute, but yeah, it kicked back up. He's fine.
But that still sounds like it might actually be fun.
We want you to look into this deeper. We want you to report back with the details.
Is this being carried on Twitch?
No.
Is it going to be on YouTube?
I don't think anybody's recording it.
Are they raising? I mean, okay. So the Games Done Quick marathons raise money for charity.
Oh yeah, we're doing the same thing.
Okay, how much has been raised?
About I guess 47.
Is that 1,000?
No.
Okay. Steven, you have any questions for this guy?
I'm beginning to think that he's taken us for the proverbial ride. And
we are definitely going to have to review our expense system
drum
for our orders.
Type a subroutine in for him to maybe do some auditing, some bookwork.
Affirmative.
Drum, we trust you.
Yes. The drum is very trustworthy. Don't think that he would do something like that. Okay, so moving right along. This is going to be an interesting episode because every once in a while I lift my iron grip that I hold upon the show, and I let, with much trepidation, I let Steven pick the topic. And so, Steven, what are we going to talk about?
Are you really doing this? Is this a joke? Is this another one of your...
No. This hour is all yours, except for the part where we talk to the reporter and the commercials and music and possible phone calls.
Let me
please
begin.
Call in, please. Call in.
I know you want to interrupt this because it was hard for you to give this to me in the first place, but
it really is.
I just want to bow before you and take this time to...
It's not going to work.
Give you adoration for this time that I feel like you bequeathed to me in love and generosity out of the fruitful gifts of your heart.
He threatened.
And no, there was no sleight of hand, there was no aggression, there was no threats. Everything he's saying is lies. He is just showing his benevolence, and y'all are all witness to it. So
yes, this is going to be exciting because we've had this discussion that Steven and I disagree on style of games. That's okay, but we have had the discussion that we are a retro game show.
Retro.
And we should not be talking about modern games.
So
that's for like a different show.
But
and so
yeah,
I'm excited to hear what he's come up with because I know it's going to be it's going to be fun and retro.
Retro games. Retro depends upon your age.
Oh
and,
no!
And the time that you began serious gaming. For me, 1998 was the year that I was ushered into a new realization that gaming has a depth and a brevity never before seen. I mean, I've been playing these RPGs and these games for simpletons.
See,
you play alone. You can save it when you're ready to quit.
There's
this whole idea that somehow you have control over the game. a weakness that is emphasized by your lack of determination. And so, in 1998, a wayward gamer lost in the idea that save games was somehow the future. The internet was born, not in 1998, prior to that, but I had first access to it as a youngster in the form of Battle.net.
Oh, goodness.
Blizzard's online platform for playing Starcraft. Starcraft is the game I have selected to discuss and to emphasize as one of the most paramount games. In fact, the father of esports as we know them. A multi-billion-dollar industry which is just beginning to rise and overshadow all other television, cable, news network industries because the access that each individual can participate with their own computer and the connection to the World Wide Web. Starcraft.
Not a retro game.
The first ultimate retro game.
It's not a retro game at all, much less the first retro game. That didn't even make any sense, the first retro game.
A game is generally conceived by the idea that you have to play against an opponent, or there's some kind of strategy involved. And before the internet, there was really no other way to play with people. Why am I talking like a teacher?
So you are claiming that games that are not played, video games that are not played against an opponent are not only not retro, they're not even games.
Well, they're more like passive entertainment or like reading a romance novel if you're a woman. You know, you derive some satisfaction, you get to fantasize about being somebody else, but in the end of the day, what have you really gained? And let me tell you, when you play online against an opponent who's practiced and honed their skills, there's actually the minds connecting on a battlefield of ethereal nature, able to do combat with digitized characters in a spiritual realm almost. Knowing that you vanquished an opponent somewhere on the other side of the world gives you a sense of fulfillment and desire that is unmatched by any other type of gaming in the retroverse.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Steven, I've tried
this is a little religious for me. Please
I've tried to explain this to you before. We have a particular type of a show here. And this is not a retro game. It's not part.
Yes, it is.
It's not part of it. How is it a retro game? It's on CD.
So a retro game is determined by the player. You know, when you're dead and gone,
wait.
The retro games you played won't be retro anymore. They'll be classic or historical games. Retro games are the things that people first played.
No.
A generation.
Retro games are particular games from particular generations of gaming, notably cartridge games.
Cartridge games. Let me tell you something. Cartridge games are quickly becoming less of a retro thing and more of a historical note in the annals of gaming history.
Just declare something retro because
I declare Starcraft retro.
You cannot.
I just did.
And furthermore, it is not part of the Nintendo verse that we normally talk about.
Look, I've fought. I've done battle. I've flown helicopters. Remember, in the Nintendo verse. I'm not to take retro gaming to another level and to say that it applies to more than just Nintendo and
it doesn't just apply to Nintendo, but I'm saying that's our focus. That's our niche.
So we're staying within like the range of like 37 to 39 year olds. I mean, come on. Look, we've got to embrace the 33-year-olds. The 30-year-olds. I mean, these people, they played these games years and years ago now. They don't even own the same copy. It's been lost. It's been broken. It's been stolen. These people still embrace these old games, which are actually still played on the internet, but they're more like relics.
Why are they stealing stuff to break it?
You know, when you love something, you break it.
So what kind of...
You know love. You break it. You love something, you use it so much, it breaks. That's how love works. Love 101. Let me tell you.
Okay.
StarCraft, and this is important, and I'm bringing this topic up for, let me digress a little bit. Maybe we should veer a little bit away from the definition of retro gaming.
We have worked hard. We've worked hard, so hard, through one episode to gain an audience.
You know what? But we might be missing 25 to 35% of our audience who considers retro gaming StarCraft.
Okay.
Or early RPGs or early internet access games. And so I don't want to disclude or uninclude these people just by the mere fact that we're not going to ever touch on anything related to early internet games.
Okay. All right.
Go.
I'm going to put my foot down on this.
No.
I'm going to put my foot down.
You said I could have this.
Okay, I'm going to put my foot down on this.
You said I could have it.
Because
you said I could have.
Because I haven't played the game.
Oh, that's fantastic. You haven't played the game. That means I can sell you on it still.
No, how are we supposed to have a conversation about a game that I haven't played?
You know what? Where do we start? What is one of the things we've talked about in this show? I mean, we might not have talked about it yet, but we've planned on talking about it. And that is music and gaming. And I think we should digress. I should digress a little bit. I want to sell you on the strategy. I want to sell you on the intricacies. I want to tell you that StarCraft is like a mix between poker and chess, and it's the most fascinating game ever invented. But I want to digress. And I want to sell you on music. So I say we start this before we talk about the game itself, before we talk about the esports aspect, before we talk about the fact that StarCraft 2 has come out in the meantime, and that StarCraft, the original game, is being remastered and re-released August 14th, which might be after this show. But whatever, it's coming in the future for us, where we are now. You might not receive it by then, but StarCraft Remastered is a lot of anticipation about it.
For those in the audience, we are recording these a little bit in advance for the real world.
And I can't hide my zeal. I'm overly zealous for the remastered version of StarCraft. It is still StarCraft.
Drum. Let's settle this problem. Tell us, if you could, the definition of a retro game.
Retro games are generally those produced from the 1970s to the 2000s and can include video games for systems and consoles from the first through sixth generation of video game consoles, as well as personal computer games for the Commodore 64, MSX, ZX61,
I think
ZX Spectrum.
He's established our point. Drum, thank you very much.
CPC, Commodore Amiga, MEC, PS.
Okay, Drum. Yeah. He's literally reading Wikipedia.
Drum. Delete subroutine, read Wikipedia.
What?
Delete subroutine, read Wikipedia for answers.
How's he gonna know stuff?
Drum. Add subroutine, utilize Google and multi-search function with faceted objections for limited telegraphics.
The days of Sega versus Nintendo created what is now considered to be retro games. The war ended with the Genesis and SNES, so anything from those systems or earlier can be considered retro gaming. PS1, Saturn, 64, and down. How can GC be retro when the current consoles are more powerful versions of the exact type of console gaming? NES and SNES are retro. IMO. Anything before this generation, back from 2012.
Okay. He's literally just reading comments on the IGN board at this point, so let's just move on. All right. Are you leaving? I think he's walking off. I think he said everything he wanted to.
Blah, 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 blah. Now I'm back.
Okay. All right. We have a caller. Drum, who do we got on the phone?
It is a call that we have on line 1.
Oh gosh, Drum. This episode's not going my way.
I'm sorry, dude.
Caller, what's going on? You're on the line with Kai and StarCraft Head.
Steven.
That's what I said.
You said StarCraft Head.
Yes, hello. This is Wesley. I have some points to make about retro gaming.
Go ahead, Wesley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
Well, my concern for the term retro is that as time goes on, the term becomes ever broadening, and when we just use it to refer to games of the past instead of like a particular era,
Yes.
then it just kind of becomes this label that we can apply to almost anything. I've in fact heard it said that retro games are games that are 10 years old and older, which means that we're close to having like, PS3 games being retro and that sort of thing. And as time goes on, eventually Xbox One and PS4 and Nintendo Switch games will all be retro. And it just doesn't seem right that Breath of the Wild can be retro and the original Legend of Zelda can be retro. We need a better term than just referring to games of yesteryear as retro.
Wesley?
So that's really my concern.
Wesley.
Yeah.
Are you a hipster, Wesley?
What? Of course I'm not a hipster. I am a retro gaming connoisseur.
AKA.
And I have a zeal for those games and the preservation of those games and so I would like to restrict
A
the
gaming
term.
hipster.
I would like to restrict the term to games specifically that were released before the release of the Famicom, and so it would only apply to those.
What do you
Wait,
think, Kai?
So like Super Mario Brothers is not retro.
No.
Yeah, hipster.
So what are we calling Super Mario Brothers then?
That would need another term.
Do you have a suggestion for said term?
Yeah, anything. Come on.
No, that's not my era. And so it would not. It would be unwise for it to fall upon my shoulders.
Wesley, you need to take charge here.
So, I would like that if you're going to have a retro show, it really should be restricted to older games, pre NES.
Pre-NES?
Pre-NES. So
As retro?
Yes.
Only? Exclusively?
Exclusively. And therefore preserve the term for a particular era of video games and stop with this other nonsense.
I don't know, Kai. We were disagreeing earlier, but maybe
clearly retro games refers to the cartridge era.
Cartridge era.
And earlier.
And earlier.
And not to StarCraft.
Whoa. Come on. We have to be... Look, we're facing a common foe, and so we need to unite. And I think that cartridge era is a...
Cartridges are far too fancy. That's not retro at all. That's like modern. That's like... That's just slightly pre-modern. Is the cartridge. It's just... It's like one step removed from modern. It's not retro.
Okay,
Kai, we've got to unite on this.
Okay, yes, we are united. We are united. We are united that the cartridge games are retro.
You know what? CDs are like cartridges, except they're flat. Nobody uses CDs anymore to get games. They download them off of Steam, or they pre-order them on the internet. I mean, you don't need the actual CD anymore. I remember multi-CD games, MechWarrior 3, for instance. It required 4 CDs to load the game. That's retro to me. That's retro to most people. Just because Wesley here is a gaming hipster who's stuck in this pre-cartridge era.
I'm not a hipster. Just because I like video games before they were cool.
You know what? You're hippie then.
That's such a hipster thing.
Yeah, you're a hippie hipster.
Do you have a beard? Are you drinking coffee?
Yes. What?
Maybe.
What kind of shirt? Is your shirt ironic?
maybe.
I think-
I'm only wearing it because I'm wearing it to be ironic because it would be something that a hipster would wear, but since I'm not a hipster, it's ironic.
Banhammer.
Are you banning our...
You know what? I don't have time for hipsters or hippies.
We've only had 3 callers.
Maybe we need to set a precedence. If you call in and you're a hipster or you're playing a game and lying to us, you're banned. I mean, come on. We have whole seasons ahead of us. We need to establish a precedence for
hipsters.
For hipsters. At least for hipsters. Give me this one. Give me this one. That's all I want.
Oh, wait, okay. There's only so many groups that play retro games. And hipsters are one of them.
Okay, so maybe we're banning 35% of our audience.
Yes, I mean,
but I would happily ban that percentage. If you identify yourself as a hipster and you're listening to this podcast, I would happily ban you.
Wait!
You're wearing an ironic shirt, you're drinking coffee, and you're not in my, it's like, I don't care what you say because...
You are now banning part of our audience. Not just from calling, but from listening.
We'll still have 65% left.
We don't... This is our second episode. We have 0 listeners.
I'm not so sure about that. I think that first episode was pretty killer, and we have a pretty massive following. I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers, but Drum has told me that we did well.
We haven't actually released it yet.
Well, if we were to have released it, people would have loved it, and we would be doing pretty well.
Okay. Now, I'm going to keep track of this for the future. And if our audience drops off in episode 3 by 35%, you're going to apologize to the hipsters.
I will do that.
All right. In the meantime, we're going to take a little break here, and we will be back right after this.
He comes in the night, seemingly out of nowhere, a blur of yellow whose only mission is justice. His name is already legend, but the reality doesn't quite line up with the myth, and we're about to find out exactly how wrong we've been about him. He is the Yellow Canary. The Yellow Canary is a comedic thriller by Paul Lytle about a would-be superhero who may just be crazy enough to make a difference. The Yellow Canary by Paul Lytle, available from Amazon in print and on Kindle. Check for the link in the show notes.
Hey Drum, did you know that the TechnoFunkBoy isn't just a group of podcast hosts that live inside a Super Nintendo?
Really?
That's right, we're also a band.
Tell me more.
We're a retro gaming inspired band that plays covers of classic video game themes, original game music, and other music in the style of classic games.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and you can find our first full-length album on iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby. It's called the Final Fantasy Mixes, and it's an EDM tribute to some of Uematsu's best musical themes. Check the episode notes for links or go to TechnoFunkBoy to learn more.
TechnoFunkBoy sounds like the greatest band that has ever existed.
I programmed him to say that.
We're back.
right. Well, welcome back. Okay. I hate to admit something.
What?
That was actually pretty cool.
Of course. I mean, it's like, it's kind of like, bluegrass meets the future, meets space cowboys. I mean, I think there's something about music inspiring a game. And sometimes I think, sometimes I even wonder how much did the music actually propel me deeper into a game. And I think in this case, that music, when I hear that music, it ignites a primal force inside of me that causes me to relate to the Starcraft universe. I mean, that is classic Starcraft. You can play that for millions of people around the globe. They'll tell you exactly what it is, and they'll tell you how much that music meant to them. I mean, the music itself is wonderful, but in conjunction with the gameplay and with the scrappiness of the Terran race in Starcraft, it really does something to light the soul on fire and to just reawaken this desire as a youngster and even as an older fella to mine those minerals, build that barracks, produce those marines, defend against the Zerg, the Protoss, whatever foe is coming in, and basically stand up for human values, the far reaches of the darkest parts of space.
Okay, you're starting to lose me again.
Well, basically StarCraft 1 was a revolutionary game, and the music is a propellant into that game, into that universe. I really believe that StarCraft 1 changed the entire face of gaming as we know it. It definitely ushered in professional gaming like had never been seen before. I mean, I think that the largest esports audiences first appeared in StarCraft over in South Korea, and we had the first celebrity gamers come out of South Korea. You have the tier 1 players basically sponsoring drinks and cell phones, and I remember watching some advertisements even back in the day, and just being fascinated that these total nerds were actually famous and cool because they were good at StarCraft. And I think that was the first time that had actually ever happened in video gaming history. Now we still don't see it that much, but I think that's the future. I think that professional gaming will surpass and overtake any kind of flesh sports, as I like to call them. Football, basketball, baseball. Basically the carnal sports will be overtaken by the ethereal, spiritual sports of gaming. StarCraft being the father of all that.
I think I somewhat agree with you. I'm not sure I would have worded it the exact same way.
Carnal sports?
The ethereal, spiritual sports was my favorite part of that rant, but that was good.
Well, we can stick with that. I mean, if that's safe, we can be safe. I mean, we're trying to appeal to a larger audience, and there might be some listeners who still enjoy carnal things. And so we don't want to say that, all flesh sports are bad, but there is definitely a rise in the spiritual aspect of gaming and competition, and that's typified in esports.
The first thing I thought of listening to that is, and just my own history with Blizzard as a company is, in honestly, I don't know why I did not start into StarCraft, because I played Warcraft and I played Diablo, and the first games in both of those series, and loved both of them. But the beginning part of the tune actually reminded me a lot of something that I might have heard in Diablo 2 or something, in one of the towns or that sort of thing. But it moves from there and kind of kicks up a notch and has more of a influx of rock in there that separates it from its other Blizzard counterparts.
Well, I think there's the pacificity of the opening of the song, of the tune, is it relates you to, hey, these are basically space colonists. I mean, that's the plot in Starcraft. The idea behind the original plot is that Earth doesn't have enough room to house criminals, and so they put them on these big ships and they send them off into space, kind of like what the British did with Australia. Like, we don't have room in Britain for all these criminals, let's send them to another land. So Starcraft plays on that theme, but it's in the future. And so instead of sending them to another part of the world that's uninhabited because the world is so full, they send them out into space, and it begins this great space drama where you have the humans being having to colonize space, and I think Tarsonis is one of the original planets they colonize, and they end up running into the Zerg, and then the Zerg, their encounter with the Zerg leads to their encounter with the Protoss who are pursuing the Zerg, and the whole space opera unfolds from there. And if you don't know the story, highly recommend getting into it. The Starcraft Remastered is coming out soon. As far as this recording is concerned, it might be a slight delay, but this recording, we're not sure the exact date it's gonna hit, but it should actually be pretty close to the date of the release. And so if you're listening to this, as it's being released and not like catching up, like far into the future, we're probably pretty close to the date that we're getting the release of. What is this? Is this a remaster of the original? Yeah. So basically, when Starcraft initially was released in I think 1997 or 1998, and then there was a follow-up expansion which was also very popular, Brood Wars, Starcraft Brood Wars.
As an aside, I'm already regretting asking this question.
Yeah, no. I'll keep it simple for our audience who doesn't know about StarCraft, because, I definitely want to preach StarCraft, okay? StarCraft is one of the few games that, as games become increasingly more multiplayer, we have the rise of the MOBA, the massive online or battle arena or whatever, multiplayer online battle arena, which actually Starcraft, or maybe it was Warcraft 3, Blizzard fathered that as well. But before
don't worry, I'll take control of the show again next time.
I'll punt it back. But I do want to let our fans know that there is a lot of history in StarCraft, and I think it's at least worthwhile to look into it. I mean, and the remastered. Basically, what's happened is the initial release was back in the late 90s. Now you have Blizzard coming back, and I think they're offering, I think it's $15 or something. August 14th, 2017. The re-release, StarCraft Remastered. It's updated graphics, so it doesn't look quite as granular and as the original version did, but it's the same game, the same the same hotkeys, all the stuff in the game is the same, but you have slightly better graphics. And so hopefully, the focus on it will bring people back to this epic game that basically ushered in a new frontier in online gaming. I mean, I remember my early years of...
Oh, look, we got a call.
Oh, well, let's take this call. Hopefully it's relevant.
I've never been so excited about a call. Drum. Who do we got on the phone call?
We have someone interrupting on line 1.
Okay.
Hopefully it's about StarCraft.
Line 1, are you here to talk about StarCraft or something interesting?
Well, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto.
That...
Do you guys talk about Grand Theft Auto?
Wait, no, that's not a retro game.
Dude, we're talking about StarCraft.
What? We don't necessarily have to talk about StarCraft right now, but...
I'm in this car. I just stole this car.
Okay. It's not a retro
I just
game.
popped a curve. Hey, I want some advice. Wait.
I have no.
Hold on. I gotta get out. Beat this old lady up.
Wait, what are you doing?
Okay. I saw an old lady crossing the street, and when I was a kid, my parents told me to help old ladies cross the street, but since I'm in a video game world, I thought I'd beat the smack out of this old lady.
Wait. When you were a kid, how old are you?
12.
Oh. Got a motorcycle now. Look at me.
How did you get a motorcycle?
Look at me. Oh, I just popped over a bunch of people. I hit one dude in the head when I was driving over him. Okay, I'm going to get off my motorcycle.
Hey,
I have
I hate
a
to
question.
say this. This sounds kind of cool. Wait, what?
I have some questions for you.
Okay, go for it.
What is the point of this game? Oh, yeah. God.
Wait, who'd you get?
I got that guy that I hit with the motorcycle, but he wasn't dead, so I had to kill him with a baseball bat.
You went back with...
Oh, I just got a Corvette. I think it's a Corvette.
How did you get I'm so lost. How did you get a Corvette?
Now I'm cruising down Sunshine Boulevard. You know you have a radio in this car?
I'm
listening to electronic music.
This is this
is
a whole episode of stuff I have not played.
Hey, I called in here for questions and...
Wait, what kind of questions?
So, what is the objective of this game?
Dude, you interrupted our important conversation.
No, by all means interrupt, but first of all, can we talk about something retro?
I got the police on me now.
Okay.
I got 2 stars.
2 stars? I don't even know what that means.
I think that means they're coming after me.
Well, you should probably... Wait,
oh, boy.
You should probably turn yourself in. That would be the objective of the game.
This is a video game.
This is to get arrested.
Oh, got another old lady.
Wait, with the cops on your tail?
Yeah, oh boy.
Lady in the confession.
Shut up, Mom.
That was your mom?
Oh, she doesn't know what you're talking about.
Wait. Okay, your mom doesn't... Does your mom know you're playing this game? Does your mom know you're playing this game?
She didn't allow it, but I got it anyway. Rented it from the video store.
Where did you find a video store?
I live in Nantucket, Panto.
Don't know what that means.
Didn't think so.
Okay, all right. First of all, the object of the game is to have your character arrested, and then to tell your mom.
I got my car repainted. Now the cops are gone.
Then to tell your mom that you're playing the game.
I'll show you my face.
Shut up, Mom.
Wait,
She's so dumb.
And then not to tell your mom to shut up.
You got a hairball.
Here?
Okay. Got my car repainted, the cop's gone, and now it's time to raise the hell again.
Wait, no. You're missing the point of the game. The point of the game.
What's the objective of this game?
The objective of the game.
Because I keep stealing cars and beating people up, but I don't get any points.
Tell your mother what games you are playing.
She don't even know nothing.
She does need.
All right. So when
First of all, enjoy the video store, because I can't imagine that's going to last very much longer.
Well, but video stores have a lot of profit from me and people like me. Wait. Just found some other car. Look at this car. Whoa, this is a good one. I'm getting out of my repainted Stingray. I'm getting into this other. It looks like it's some kind of military vehicle. Oh no, the cops are after me now. There must have been a cop car. It must have been a military car. How do I beat this game, guys? That's why I called in.
I don't even know what the stars mean.
No, wait, hold on.
I really, okay. I know, dear listener, that I have a narrow view of retro gaming, but I do try to stick with it.
Yeah, I'm playing on Xbox. That's retro.
Did you break something?
I just dropped my console pad.
Okay. All right. Rickster?
Yeah?
I want you to do something for me. It's a secret mission.
Okay. I'm in a safe spot, pulled over.
Okay.
The stars are still after me, though. They'll probably find me soon.
I want you to hand the phone over to your mom.
Oh, no, you don't want that.
So I can distract her while you're playing the video game.
Oh, you're a clever man. What's your name again?
Kai.
Kai, you are a clever man.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'm going to call her. Her name's Luann. Now, hold on.
All right.
Mom, Luann, Mom, someone's on the phone for you. She's coming, I think. Mom, Luann. There's someone on the phone for you.
Who is that?
Here you go. Here she is.
Hi, Luann. My name is Kai. And Kai, and I just wanted to tell you that you need to take the video game system away from your son.
My son does not have a video game system.
And with that, we're going to move on with our lives. Steven, we're out of time.
No, we just started.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was great.
I have so much more to say about StarCraft.
Maybe another day.
Get StarCraft remastered, August 14th.
Yeah,
it already happened. You can get it right now.
I'll write down in my little notebook a future episode that maybe you can host. Choose a topic again.
I feel like you're being sarcastic.
I'm a little sleepy.
I hear you.
So yeah, no, we'll put that down in my book. I'm writing it down right now.
You don't have a book in front of you. You're just saying that out loud. I can see you.
It's a book in my head. Drum, can you put that in the book?
Affirmative.
See, Drum's got it in the book.
Drum, initiate subroutine alpha beta theta C153. He knows what I'm talking about.
Episode 3 will be hosted by Steven.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, baby, I'm a hacker.
Well, until then. This has been Kai. We appreciate you listening. Please do check us out on Twitter and Facebook, TechnoFunkBoy. If you go to TechnoFunkBoy.com, you can sign up for our email newsletter that will be launching here in the next few days, and so we definitely want you to be aboard with that. You can learn a little bit more about the band and the stuff that's going on in our lives. So until then, I hope you have a good day. Steven, thanks for joining me.
No problem. Y'all come keep checking us out. Don't give up yet. It's getting better.
I think they just checked out.
No, they didn't. They're still listening. They're waiting for the last little tidbit, and I got one little tidbit left.
I think we lost him. I think we lost him.
No.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the TechnoFunkBoy. Follow us on Twitter at TechnoFunkBoy, on Facebook at the TechnoFunkBoy, and sign up for our email list at TechnoFunkBoy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening. Keep gaming. And once you have responsibilities that need to be done over time, then we can game later.